Hey guys, we're here at Free Play Arlington and we're about to play a game you can find at every Free Play location. We're talking, of course, about Midway's Galaga.
Throughout history, there has been one stalwart arcade game developer above all others, Namco. After releasing a few minor arcade titles, Namco would find great success with what is today considered a relatively clunky shooter, Galaxian, which at the time was a monster hit and considered a massive advancement for the space shooter genre. Namco would follow Galaxian up with monster hit Pac-Man, which was based on totally new hardware, and then King and Balloon, which was based on an upgraded Galaxian hardware. While Pac-Man would find massive, historic success, the great King and Balloon would stumble due to the ineffective marketing of its US publisher, Gameplan Inc. Due to that stumble, Namco had a ton of leftover Galaxian-style hardware and immediately assigned Shigeru Yokoyama to design a game that improved upon Galaxian's successful space shooter formula. After spending a month or two maximizing the Galaxian hardware, but generally falling short of expectations, Yokoyama went to Namco Research and Development to find a new, more powerful hardware base. With what would become the Galaga hardware in hand, Yokoyama was able to implement a number of dream enhancements that were not possible on the older hardware, such as the ability to fire additional shots, interactive enemy dive patterns, smooth pixel transitions, and thousands of other minor improvements that added to the polish of Galaga. This new hardware also permitted the famous Galaga enhancement, where an enemy ship could capture your ship and hold it hostage, with the player then able to use two ships simultaneously upon rescuing the captured ship. Interestingly, the team discovered that the new hardware could not support 4 bullet sprites on the screen at the same time, so the team had to come up with an incredibly clever workaround: have the double ship shoot a single sprite that looked like 2 bullets, making it appear as though there were 4 bullets on the screen simultaneously without bogging down the hardware. After a mere few months, Yokoyama had a polished product that was quickly becoming the most popular game around the Namco offices. During these tests, however, while playing on the then current Japanese-style cocktail tables, the players recognized how difficult it was to play the game with a joystick that was mounted vertically. So the designers implemented a more horizontal mounted joystick into a Japanese cocktail for the first time in history. But success in the Namco studios did not mean that the game would translate into an arcade hit. For that, Namco set up a number of location tests where the amount of quarters the game earned during the test period was the only metric that mattered. And there, the game totally bombed. Whereas the average arcade game at the time would last approximately 4 minutes per credit, Galaga was lasting 7 or 8 minutes. The Namco bosses were upset and worried that the operators would never buy a game that gave so much playtime to consumers. These Namco bosses leaned heavily on Yokoyama to change the game to make the player die more quickly. Fortunately for all of us, Yokoyama stood his ground and said that consumers would fall in love with the game precisely because it lasted so long. Yokoyama was right, and still to this day, Galaga is a massive earner and remains one of the most popular games at Free Play Arcade. And you can find Galaga, Galaxian, King and Balloon, and hundreds of other amazing retro arcade games at our DFW area Free Play locations. Don't just watch the games, come play them.